Chapter 2. The Sacred Registers, Part 2. The writings of Gami were brought by the hands of pt2-The Enlightener, of the twin cities whence come the sons of fire, when he fled the wrath of kings. He spread out before the learned ones beauteous things of many colors and spoke to them after this fashion, and I, Lavos, recorded it in the tongue of the sons of fire. Behold this, it is the land of the dawning. It stands between the land of light ever splendid and the land of darkness ever gloomy. They are the lands beyond the veil. Before the veil is the land of the living. The aspiring one has embarked on the waters of illusion. His craft is afloat, but it has not yet reached the shores where the promise of new life is fulfilled. Now he is guided by two beings, one a lovely maiden and the other an ill-visaged man. These two strive one with the other, each grasping one side of the craft. Now it overturns. The maiden seeks to drag the aspiring one down, while the ill-favored man seeks to keep him afloat. But the aspiring one struggles against him. They come to the sands of the shining shore where the light of truth turns the maiden into a vile-faced hag and the man into a handsome youth. The aspiring one lies on the sands of Shoju as one dead, for he had fought against the man who sought to save him. The beauteous one comes attended by handmaidens, and with them are the companions of the aspiring one's earthly life. There, too, is his soul self, awaiting his embrace. The aspiring one lies as dead, for he did not know his Savior. They who stand about, who are the welcomers, wait in uncertainty. The beauteous one bends over the prostrate man and says, "Revive, this is not a place where death rules." He moves and she says, "Raise yourself and cast away the residue of your mortality." The aspiring one opens his eyes. He sits up, he shields his eyes before the vision of beauty, he is blinded by it and she gives him his heart. The handmaidens weep and their tears are the blood of the aspiring one's life. The beauteous one says, "I have come that you who were dead might live, that you who were blinded might see, that you who were deceived might know truth." The soul self says, "I have come to embrace you, I have come to protect you, I have come to shield you, I am your refuge." That which is the Koha says, "I have come to brighten up your face, I am you as you are me. I have waited for you, I have wept for you and rejoiced when you rejoiced. I have never forgotten you while we have been apart. I have heard every word spoken and these are recorded for you." This is the herald, he stands between this man and his Koha, and they, together with the adjuster and the welcomers, go to the hall of judgment and stand before the Lord of life, the master of destinies. Now come the lords of eternity who are the lesser gods, and they enter the gates of splendor. The balancer comes from his secret place. The greeter to darkness stands at his door and the greeter to splendor stands at his door. They face each other. The welcomers, compatible companions of this man's earthly life, stand about. They are there in the hall of judgment. The balancer causes two fluid-like, fluctuating columns which stand on either side of the Koha, and one takes the form of the aspiring one. But it is horribly malformed because it mirrors all his wickednesses and weaknesses. The other shines brightly, for it mirrors all his goodness and spiritual qualities. Then the two columns merge back into the Koha and the adjuster adjusts with justice and mercy. Then the aspiring one stands forth in his Koha and in his true likeness. Wiccan is a blending together of all his incarnational likenesses. The aspiring one is drawn towards the right-hand door, he passes through and sets foot on the rainbow road. He is accompanied by the welcomers, the companions of his earthly life who are now revealed to him in their true likeness. They sing, they dance, they rejoice, and there is much gladness in the reunion. The word of truth is established, it is fulfilled. The ancient promises are fulfilled. He who departs shall return, he who sleeps shall awaken, he who dies shall live. The aspiring one has passed into the regions of glory. Now, behold the body vacated by the vehicle of life. It slumbers in its death wrappings, for the enlivening spirit has flown. The earthly body alone stays, and cannot hold itself together. It prepares to fall apart and decay. The companions of the dead take it into their company, it will be made incorruptible and become a communicating door. It is given the things which rightly belong to the dead. Those who remain on earth fear the life shadow of the one who has gone on before them. The body is bandaged in its death wrappings. It is purified, it is made clean, it is provided with the necessities. Thus, the life shadow shall dwell at peace within the empty body, it believes it to be its abode. It shall not wander. O shadow, do not wander, remain within the tomb, seize any who come to steal, seize any who would break the body, seize any who would open that which is closed. Seize and haunt, the companions of the dead speak thus, the life shadow of this man who was is never restless, it never wanders, it is ever protecting, it is ever watchful. It remains, for it is bound to the empty corpse by the restraining thongs. They say, the spirit of this man has awakened in the land of immortality, it rejoices in the land beyond the horizon. He is a hero of the horizon. Offend him not by thinking that he is dead, he cannot die, for he is with the ever living. He has not gone away to die, he has departed to live elsewhere. Let the moisture of his body return to the waters of the earth from whence it came. Let the things of hardness in his body return to the dust from whence they came. Let his bones rejoin the stones which once they were. Weep not, for your tears and lamentations restrain his eager spirit. Sing the death dirge, that its echoes may sound the tocsin in the region of light, and the splendid ones and the welcomers come to the place of appointment. It is unfitting to force gladness on a sorrowful heart, but be sad only for a temporary parting. Let not the earthly body of this man who was become destitute surround it with care and affection, so that it may transmit the substance of life, sustain it, so the life shadow remain within. What see you now? Gaze upon it, the frail mortal remains enwrapped and silent, unresponsive. Ponder, this you see with the eyes of the body, which cannot perceive things of the spirit. Were the eyes of your spirit opened but a brief moment, you would perceive something entirely different, and then you would know that his shining, immortal spirit walks in the company of those risen to glory. It is the time for parting, the time for farewell, for the closing of the door, O departed one risen to glory, who has left us to sorrow. As we have helped you and surrounded you with the protection of our love and our offerings, so now help us in the days of life left to us on earth. Chapter 3. The Sacred Registers, Part 3. Behold, one comes wearing white sandals and clad in fine linen. Arise, stand up to greet him. He bears the staff of righteousness. He brings a pearl of priceless value, take it and become perfect. Others come, fair women and young children. His father's heir has come, and the four great ones who bear sweet waters, who spread the feast and rejoice under the strong arm of their protector. He who has gone is not forgotten, but this is the day of the living. He who has inherited ceases from weeping and begins to smile. The protecting one comes in peace. The heart in the sky is no longer small, it expands, it grows large. Thus it is also with the heart of he who lives. His days of lamentations are over, and his heart swells and grows large. The good son never ceases from faithful service on behalf of the absent one, who has escaped from the confinement of the body. The dutiful son now calls upon the absent one for protection from wandering shadows and from the molestations of life shadows. O bountiful, ever considerate one, hear the words of your faithful and dutiful son, as they ascend with the blue, penetrating smoke of fragrant incense. Let no shadow wander from your safe abode to haunt our habitations, for they who dwell therein have done you no dishonor. Safeguard the dark doorway, that things in vile forms come not near us to pollute our bodies with sickness and disease. You left, and before the waters rose again, the man of Shodu, he who dealt harshly with the widow dwelling beside the channel of black stones, departed for his judgment. Is not he whom you judged, and did you not deal rightly with him when the scales went down against him? Therefore, might he not return from the region of darkness with others of his kind and cause misfortune to fall upon us? You he cannot harm, you are now in the place of glory, in the land beyond the westral waters. Therefore, send us, guardians from among the glorious company, that they may spread, protecting wings over our habitations. Many come, bearing cakes of fine meal and barley cakes, large, fat-bodied. Fish and meats of many kinds, honey wine in jars and fruits in plenty. He who is absent from the feast is joyful. His arm is strong, and he issues his commands to the guardians. Cast off all gloom and be joyful, for this is not the time of sorrow, and tears have no place in your eyes. If there be benevolent life shadows beyond the protective pale, they may enter. Join with us in our rejoicing, let us all enjoy what we have and what we share, for life is irrepressible. These are things from a foreign place said for our brother Guelm, according to the rites of the sons of fire, and thus it shall be for those who enter the chambers of stone. Chapter 4. The Sacred Registers, Part 4. No longer can the man who was speak with men on earth, for he now lives in splendor among the eternal ones. He was weighed before the assessors, and though his faults were not few, he was not outweighed in goodness. He has become a shining one and journeys on into the spaces of heaven-land, accompanied only by his compatible companions. He has ascended into the place of glory, the place of fulfillment. The years have fallen off his shoulders like a cast-off cloak, and he is young again. He is vigorous, he lives. Time cannot touch him with change, nor sorrow enter his heart. He rests, awaiting a new call to duty. He has passed through the wide hall and through the narrow portal. He has entered the land of a new dawning, and he is welcomed. His earth companions greet him. He lives. He is beyond harm. He sees the sublime visions which fulfill his yearnings. He who has served is now served. As he has sown and husbanded, so now he reaps. He continues past the place of waiting souls and sees the awaiting choirs, who will unite with the ascending spirits of men. He bears in his hand the book of life and glides over the pure pastures, past the bright dividing flame. He turns the face of compassion towards the darkness, but sees naught but fleeting shadows against the red glare. The lost ones shrink back in shame, and the man who was passes the entrance to their foul abode. Those who are left to mourn for the glorious one have dried their tears, for all is well with him. He delights in the good life in a place of glory. He is safe in the embrace of his Kohar. He is the adoring one whose eyes are open to splendor. He sees the sublime visions, the man who seeks the illuminator who will direct him in his duties. He cleanses himself in the lake of beauty and refreshes himself at the fountain of life. He sees spirits of the twilight who are purged of all their wickedness and lusts, yet remain captive to the lords of destinies, for they are still unproven. The Lord of life will direct their passage back for trial and testing. For these there is always hope. The man who has navigated the winding waters of life and crossed the dark waters of death, and is now strengthened in wisdom. He takes a seat on high, that he may become an instructor and guide on the path. He becomes a brazier in the distance, a homing light to guide those who seek truth. He is purified and comes forth wearing the white mantle of greatness. Behold the splendor of his raiment and the purity of his adornments, as he sits awaiting calls from those in the heavy kingdom, who seek his counsel. The seers in dark waters will amaze the people with the clarity of their visions and revelations, for the power goes forth from the man who was with manifold strength. A great being has joined the splendid company in the land of dawnlight. Over there they will say, earth is worthily fulfilling its purpose when it produces men such as this. You may wonder, what are the occupations of the man who was? Does he illuminate the dark waters alone? May he not be among those who seek to enter the hearts of those who close the doors of their spirit to the instructors of wisdom? Alas, they who are heavily enshrouded in earthly wrappings are ever set of face before the instructors of wisdom. They say, what have we to do with this babble? Yet they, most of all, require enlightenment, for they are men of small minds. May he not have become a pathfinder in the night, a guide through the darkness, the star illuminating the night at its darkest hour as the herald of the great illuminator? May he not have become a director of rays that dance on the waters, or a controller of the winds which caress the cheek? Suffice that he rejoices in a life of splendor, so let it remain with him and his Kohar until the day when all is known, the day of full knowing. Chapter 5. The Sacred Registers, Part 5. These are the instructions for those who journey the outer track of the Twin Way, for those who have been laid in the chambered tombs, who followed the ways of Kemwilleth. The words are those from the distant past, first spoken in a far land beyond the rolling billows. The risen one has become the newcomer, and having passed through the clearing house his departure is not delayed. No toll is required on the ferry, for the newcomer has with him the words of entrance which have become known to him according to his deeds. He has not deviated from the path, and all is well. The ferryman comes to the place of waiting, he of the winding river which is the tortuous channel of purification. The newcomer stands at the mooring place and proclaims, O ferryman, away to the region of the blessed ones. I am purified, purged of polluting evils, make haste, do not delay. I am a wanderer anxious to reach my destination. The ferryman says, From whence come you? The newcomer says, I am from Restore and am weary, take me to my compatible place of abode, let us not delay, I wish to join those united with their soul selves. Let us not dally. Do not tarry, for I am anxious to depart from this somber shore. Have no fear, cautious one, for no evil dogs my footsteps. Come, let us away, bear me over the waters to the appointed place. Carry me swiftly to where spirits are regenerated and made young again. Carry me to the foot of the great stairway that ascends, to the place of the immortals, to the courtyard of the great God. The ferryman hesitates, he says, Show me your token, that I may know you have truly passed the tests, that I may know your true destination. For it is the way with men that they think one thing, but truth lies elsewhere. The newcomer says, My token is the brightness, which, if you be no impostor, you may see shining above my head. And my introduction is the writing, concerning me, written in the book of sacred mysteries. Come, bear me over the waters, so that I may tread the field of peace. See, have I not 4 attendants, 2 on either side? Let them speak for me, for they are witnesses walking in the light of truth. The ferryman says, Who stands to the pole? And the risen one answers, I will stand to the pole with my attendants, 2 on either side. You stand by, to bear at the steering oar, so that our course remains straight. The ferryman says, It is well, for the current is sullen and changeful. The newcomer says, O ferryman of the boatless ones, I am truly a man, justified before all on both sides of the horizon, before heaven and earth. I have passed the tests of the examiners and am free to proceed. I am one who can claim passage by virtue of my deeds. Have not men spoken well of me after I departed from their midst? Is this not enough? It is the way with earth, that if men speak of the goodness of an absent one, then he is good, indeed. Truly I am a bright 1-inch. The ferryman says, Draw aside your mantle, that I may see your likeness, for this is a good boat, which may not be polluted. The path henceforth is hard for those who cannot be faced without revulsion. O great one, draw your mantle over again, for you are indeed among the brightest of those who pass this way. Great will be the rejoicing when you appear among your own kind, the pure of heart. Delay no longer. Ferryman. Quickly over the waters to the other side. If you delay further, I will name the names of gods to men, that their unreality be exposed. I am not one to be trifled with, I am one who can dispel the clouds of illusion. I am a man of no mean qualities, therefore tarry no more, let us depart. Chapter 6. The Sacred Registers, Part 6. The man who becomes the pilgrim. He has crossed the waters, he has passed the grim guardian, he waits without the place of union and stands firmly. He is not afraid and stands resolute. The cool gracious one approaches with 3 jars of water and refreshes him. The pilgrim says, Behold, O watcher at the gate, I have laid up treasure, enough in the storehouse of love, therefore allow me to pass. The love of those who have gone before, see, is it not a large quantity and sufficient to draw me upward? See the love of those who remain behind, is it not a large quantity and sufficient to draw me upward? The watcher hears his words. The grim guardian counts and weighs and says, Pass. Then this man passes and goes beyond the lake of wisdom, past the winding channel of experiences, over the flooded field of reeds, to the eastern side of the region of light, where he will be renewed in birth into the higher spheres. The pilgrim now stands before the womb of heaven, where those who enter, as pure seed, are brought forth into union with God. This man passes by too, where the attendants help him to assume the robe of glory. They welcome him. Behold, they say, his Kohar has brought this man powers to make him complete. The powers he gave into the keeping of his Kohar during the prayer times on earth have returned greatly magnified. This man has joined the joyful company, he has left his old, discarded body in the region of heaviness, to assume another more glorified one in the region of light. The Kohar greets the pilgrim and says, I welcome you, my own. The Kohar says to those about, This is my own, he has washed in the lake of wisdom, and passed by the caverns of distrust and doubt. Let us, therefore, enter in peace when the great door is opened for the united being in the east, the door leading to the place of the one true God above all gods, whose manifestations are secret mysteries. Before going further, they pass by a side entrance to the region of darkness, where vile and sorrowful things lurk, the lost ones, those who served in the ranks of evil on earth. O great Kohar, stop the ears of your own, that he may not hear the mournful waitings of the doomed ones left behind. They who are the companions of the pilgrim cry out, O Kohar, guide your own right, guide him up the ladder of life which he must traverse again. Strengthen its rungs, support him, so he bears lightly upon them, let not the rungs break beneath his weight. This is the test of deeds long since done, where evil bears down heavily. O Kohar, your onus weak and falters, yet your arms are strong. Therefore, lift them to support him, that he may surmount to the heights above. Do this, that he may sit with those who have understanding and perception, that his feet may be welcomed in the fields of peace, and that he may take his place among the glorious ones. Blessed is the Kohar who safeguards all memories, storing them as men store corn, who retains these for the use of the reborn ones, who can recall all that men forget and can draw forth a memory as men draw water from a well. The Kohar is the eternal recorder. Pilgrims become risen ones and enter their Kohars as a soul enters a body, and in unity they become glorious one.